rice and beans. This is a meal. For some of you, this is just a side. For a lot of us, this is going to be the means to survive a roller coaster economy. Let me show you how I make a delicious dinner with rice and beans. Okay, so for today, I'm only working with 1 pound of pinto beans, and I have this package already open. Oops. And so you'll want to sort to make sure there's no stones, depending where you procure your beans. Some are cleaner than others, but yeah, just remove the broken beans if you can and just pick through them. And once you do that, cover this in water and you can soak overnight. I'm going to show you the quick soak method that I use when I just forget to pre-soak beans overnight. It's very easy. So you'll want to fill up a large pot with water. Okay, take it over to the stove. So now what you're going to do is just add these beans to the water. Okay, we're going to turn the heat on. Now you're going to bring this up to a boil. Okay, so this is boiling. I'm going to let the beans boil for about 10 minutes. You'll want to shut off the heat and then let them just soak for about an hour. Okay, so now the beans have been soaking for an hour. We are going to just drain all that soaking water. Just give it a quick rinse in cool water. Okay, I'm gonna set that there. Just give it a rinse, a quick rinse. Not really hot. Fill the pot with water, clean water, and this is what we're going to boil and cook the beans in. We're adding the beans. Okay, there we go. We're going to place these back onto the stove, and I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic, a piece of onion. Beans are up to you how you want to season them. That's just basic. You can add bay leaf in the mix. I'm going to add salt maybe 30 minutes in. I don't know. Some people say that's like an old wives' tale. Actually, these floating beans I'm going to take out. So these were kind of floating on the top. So yeah, I took that out. A lot of it's just skin. Bring that back up to a boil. It's going to take like another hour to cook, and you can season and add things how you like. Okay, so while the beans are cooking, I'm going to make a salsa, and let's do this. Here I have a small little baking dish. I'm going to add my tomatillos that I sliced in half. They're just really small, these, and 1 Roma tomato, just pieces of onion. I have 1 jalapeno and 2 cloves of garlic with the skin still on. I'm going to spray this with some avocado oil. Okay, this is going into my air fryer, and just let everything get nice and charred and cooked. Okay, so I'm gonna add like a teaspoon of salt into the beans and give that a little mixy mix, and just let that keep cooking. So there are so many ways to making rice. You could serve these beans over steamed rice if that's convenient. Today I'm making a Mexican style red rice, and even making Mexican red style rice at home. So many variations, so many ways, so many techniques to do this. I will show you one of the many ways that I like to make it. Okay, so I have a pan with cooking oil. I'm gonna toast my rice. I'm gonna lower the heat. You don't want to burn the rice. I'm gonna take my time and toast this. I think I can turn this off. Today for the rice, I'm going to be using a can of chicken broth. Basically 1 cup of uncooked rice to 2 cups of broth or water. I'm going to be using the tomato flavored chicken bouillon powder. And instead of tomato sauce or fresh tomatoes, I'm going with a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. And this was the tomato paste that I freezer prepped after I opened a can of tomato paste, and there was extra. So all I did was just scoop it out into these little individual scoops, froze it, and then stored it. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my onion. And then you just kind of continue toasting the rice, sauteing the onion. So here I have grounded up cumin seeds going in with a little bit of black peppercorn. Just quickly mix that. Just a little extra cooking oil. I'm gonna add the tomato paste. Give that a mix. Let that cook a little bit. Now I'm going to add the chicken broth and give that a mix. Technically, just with these ingredients, you can just add salt, like a teaspoon of salt, and some fresh garlic or garlic powder. You don't have to add the chicken bouillon powder, but I like it. And instead of adding salt, I'm going to add this. Shaking that. You'll want to use a tablespoon if you're using the chicken bouillon, and skip the salt because this is salty. Give it a mix. I'm also going to be using garlic powder, but like I said, fresh is best if you got it. Crank up the heat and just give that a quick stir. I'm going to add just a little bit more water, like 2 more ounces to make it 16 or 2 cups of water. So a little bit more water. Give that a mix. Cover it with a lid. I'm going to make sure to crank that up. You'll want to bring to a simmer / gentle boil, lower the heat, and then let it cook for about 18 to 20 minutes. Do not lift the lid. Okay. So my beans are pretty much done. I'm going to add salt to taste towards the end. Give it a mix. Once the beans are cooked through and tender, it's done. And these beans are very simple. These beans are essentially the beans that I grew up having. Charro beans were sort of like when we had parties or a lot of family came over and you added like the chorizo, the franks or the hot dog weenies, bacon, just tomatoes, jalapeno, onion, garlic. You can absolutely do that. That is delicious, and I do that all the time. This recipe is just how do you cook the pinto bean if you don't pre-soak it, and sometimes simple is best. Fresh onion, garlic, salt, that's delicious to me, and I grew up having that when we would make beans, or my grandmother, my mom would make beans. It was literally a pantry kitchen staple, and that's how we made it when we did things simply and we didn't want to make it into like a soup. But you definitely can do that. So these are done. Okay, so this is ready. So now I'm just going to puree this, blend it up, salt and season to preference. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, some chicken bouillon powder, that's it. Okay, this is not too hot. Let's put that in here, my little food processor. Okay, fail, but there we go. Okay, by the way, if you like, you can take out the veins and the seeds. Just, I'm doing this one-handed, but just remove that whole inside with the stem, like I'm going to do. So it's not as spicy for those of you that just don't want tons of spice or extra spice in your salsa. There. Yeah, that'll work. A little bit's okay. So we're gonna add that, and let's add salt, seasoning, and puree. Let's open this. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn off the rice. Do not lift the lid, and just let it hang out for about 10 minutes, and then you can lift the lid and fluff the rice to serve. So now we lift the lid. Why am I talking like that? And then you've got your perfect Mexican red rice. Well, at least I think it's perfect for today. I'm gonna put a scoop. And then we have our beans. Done. There we go. And then we got salsa. Here I have queso fresco. And now we're going to get some avocado. One-handed because like that. And this is my meal, and it's so good. Of course, you can add things like chicken, beef, roasted chicken, things like that, but I'm happy with just this. Mmm. Mmm.